New at 5, a Menominee tribal man is convicted on federal charges. A jury found 32-year-old Niji Cloud guilty of burglary and assault with intent to murder in violation of federal law. In September of last year, Cloud broke into a home in Neopet on the Menominee reservation. When he got inside, Cloud violently attacked his girlfriend until she was unconscious. A camera system inside the home caught the event on video, alerted the homeowner, who then called tribal police. The victim survived the attack. Cloud faces a maximum of 30 years in prison, sentencing now scheduled for November.